Okay guys, welcome back, Luton here. So let's do this one, Highland Resort and Rush. Now a lot of people wanted me to do Rush gameplay, and the main reason why I don't do Rush is because it just doesn't play out how it used to. And this is a pretty good example of this, but it's also just a pretty good example of how Rush can sometimes not go the way you want it to go. And I'm playing with some clan guys here, so I have got some people that I'm talking to on TeamSpeak and we're being involved with, but they're actually distributed on both sides. I've got some clan people, about the same number on both sides. I think it's about 5 apiece. So pushing here in on the first base, taking the fast attack boats, and we're trying to get in onto these objectives. As you can see, it's pretty much, you know, full-on cluster straight away. And the thing is that you really need to get fast in on these bases here. The key to any kind of rush base, especially the first base, is to hit it hard and fast and make sure that you kind of break that line. But any base which has got any kind of water effect kind of coming in right at the start, any kind of body of water that you need to cross, you need to get across that fast at the beginning, because if you don't get there fast, you're going to get pinned and trapped back out. So really what we're thinking here is just to get in as fast as possible, deal with whatever is there, clear this base and move on. We need to keep that momentum up, of course, and but this video is quite indicative of kind of the general trait and trend of how games are going, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to this second base. So the guy's doing a great job here, arm that first objective. I've returned myself to the beach, and I'm making an effort to sort of move in here, making sure to be careful, clear these targets as we move in, and I could use a little med pack health. Now basically, you see, here's the thing. I'm not running to the next objective at this point. This is the first base, and looking at the minimap, we've got decent control. We want to make sure that this one goes down, and then we get the second arm. Now the guys have already moved across and arm that target as well. So everybody's doing a real good job. What I'm doing right here is just holding this defensive line. I'm making sure that guys like this don't come in and cause us problems by coming around the side or the back. Making sure that we generally just kind of keep a nice control, keep everything working well, and keep it tied down. So now we're approaching the second base, and this is where things start to get difficult. One of our guys has already run up here. They got a fast arm. That's great news, okay? They're pushing up hard, getting in on the objective. But things quickly start to deteriorate, and you're going to see how this happens. Now look at the minimap right now. You can see me and my squad pushing A. There's one transport heli, but I don't think he's power dropping people. That's a really good technique to do, is to use that transport heli for power dropping. Now you can see Trigger here is locking this side flank down, and again, note that compared to most public games, when they're defending, not good at controlling those flanks. So again, it makes a big difference when you have those kind of players on a team, because they actually will cover those flanks. Now pushing in, we've got another arm on A, which is great. So okay, we're doing really good here, and we're trying to sort of push through, control this flank. But again, the amount of players that they got locked up on here and at different distances, it's making it very difficult for us to kind of move up and make any progress through that side at all. And the difficulty with a base like this is that if you arm only the first objective, then in a situation where we are right now on this kind of space, once that first objective is armed, and if it gets destroyed, you're then left with just the other one, which is further back. And you can see the kind of real difficulty we're having controlling this base as it is. So if they take control of that base further back, with the kind of geography that we have to push around right here, it's going to make it very difficult. And again, look at the map right here, look at how many people are moving and where they are. We've got maybe 3 or 4 guys pushing out, the rest are sort of staying back on the right hand side here. They're not really making as much forward progress as they could be. But the real thing is, again, to sort of take note, the other base that we had there, both the MCOMs were fairly close together, and they're in a situation where we could actually move onto, you know, quite safely. Nice little drop shot there, didn't work out. So when you've got 2, you know, MCOMs in the base like that, it's fine because they're kind of close together, alright? And when they're close together, that means that you can kind of control the general area. It's not a big problem. But with a base like this, it's a totally different ball game, because you've got to push up and over this, right? And if you actually manage to get the arm on A a couple of times, you need to push up with that and try and get onto it. And we were trying to do that on that flank on the left hand side. I have changed up my tactic, trying to come in here from the right. But again, look at this. They're still keeping it controlled, but luckily that guy got taken down straight away already. Okay, but this is a hard base to push in on. And again, part of it is the geography. Part of it is that if you look at the map, still on that right hand side, we've got those players, and they're just not moving up and getting onto the bases right here. And this is a really big problem. Even if they're providing fire support and putting it down, it's great. But what you really need in a base like this is to get bodies on the ground and get people moving up the hill, because it's not just about killing the enemy, it's also about presenting targets for the enemy. If you have more people over here, that presents more targets for them, and hopefully if you can drop them at the same time. I had no resort here, but I'm trying to drop a bit of smoke and I'm trying to put some grenade fire down, trying to just, you know, make it a little bit more difficult for them to spot us, because the main problem we have right now is just them getting eyes onto us. They're getting eyes onto us so fast, and again I'm trying to clear this area before I actually get onto the MCOM. Because the past couple of times that I got on there was being taken out, so I wanted to make sure to clear that area before I actually got onto the MCOM this time. The reason being, normally you wouldn't have to do that. If you actually have people up there with you, what they should be doing is covering and putting down those targets and presenting themselves as targets to the enemy, so that they can then focus across to you. It might sound ludicrous, you say, well what the hell, are people meant to just be there as like sort of shooting targets? No, but what they are meant to do is to help, you know, spread the focus of the enemy, you know, so they are shooting and returning and taking enemies out, but at the same time they are grabbing focus from the enemy to enable you to have a more successful chance of actually planting the MCOM. If there's only 2 of you guys up there and there's nobody else there, well, you know, even if you're taking out a couple of them from across the way, there's going to be enough of these guys dug in that's going to make it almost impossible for you to actually arm the MCOM. So that's why you need people up there. It's not enough to just be able to sit back and get kills. And again, look at the map. They're still doing it. They're still not actually up here with us. So I'm pushing up for yet another chance of arming the MCOM, and we've only got 15 tickets left now, so it's looking increasingly unlikely that we're actually going to get this. Guy just power dropped behind the BMCOM there, and he's trying to get that, but look, he got wiped out straight away. And again, you know, if we had really pushed together as a team and actually got up this hill, dropped smoke, pushed grenades forward, what we could have done is, if we had enough bodies of people up here, what we could have done is secured A, kept it armed, those people at A could have moved forward, held a firing line, and then everybody else pushed forward B whilst A is still armed, and we kind of keep that flow, keep that momentum going. But again, in many ways the geography stalled people, and I suppose it's an interesting sort of psychology point of kind of how people can look at the layout of a map and just think, you know, that looks a little bit dangerous, I don't like the idea of having to push up that hill. I like how we've got an LAV here, apparently that had not come up before. So we've got Bravo armed, we've only got 4 tickets left. If we had only made this move a little bit sooner, and again look, even now I'm still getting pinned down from the side, so again we just do not have control of this situation. But there we go guys, that's this video. I think it's just an interesting demonstration of the kind of thing that I've been talking about this week, where you just don't see that kind of emphasis of people moving forward, getting onto those objectives, and this shows the kind of ramifications that can have if people just don't get in and just don't get on with it. So there we go, that was that round. It was a kind of average round, but I thought it was an interesting one, and that's with these breakdowns. I always try to post these rounds that I think are interesting to take a look at there and see how they go down. Thanks for watching guys, drop your thoughts about objective play below. I'll see you next time, more Battlefield 4.